Hi there. Today we're going to continue with the books on bodyguarding, and I've got a unique book to discuss. It's this One Step Behind Mandela by Rory Steyn. Now, Rory Steyn was one of the protection team for, it was the Presidential Protection Unit of the South African Police, and he was a team member and later a senior officer in that unit. And the period of time that the book covers is from when Nelson Mandela was released from prison, and then in 1994 they had the elections and he became state president, and that's when he was given the official protection. Up till then, as a member of the ANC, the African National Congress, and as a candidate, he had his own protection guys, ANC guys, and there were problems of integrating the two together, which I'll talk about. But it was a very volatile time, and there were instances where ANC bodyguards who'd been trained in places like Libya and East Germany and places like that, under different systems, with different views on life and rules of engagement and so on. And a lot of the training probably consisted of political indoctrination. There was an instance, Winnie Mandela's bodyguards got into a road rage argument in Joburg and got into a gunfight with a couple of motorists, and one of the bodyguards was killed, and a bodyguard to another ANC official got into a gunfight with the flying squad and came off second. So those times were not really the best to be in the protection business. Anyway, Nelson Mandela is elected president, and the job is then to integrate the two forms of protection together. And what they started doing was running training courses for the ANC members, so everyone was on the same page. What the ANC guys brought to the table was fantastic loyalty. They would literally take a bullet for the man, so that's quite a good trait to have. And the South African police brought a level of professionalism and procedures, and they'd operated all over the world previously with the state presidents. And one of the first things that happened in the book is that Rory Steyn had previously been a member of the security branch, and there was a report out, and somebody had implicated him in some dirty tricks. There was a bomb placed at against an ANC facility, and the security branch were blamed for that. It was actually someone within the South African police, the Flakplas guys, and he was named. Turned out he wasn't involved in it, but he had to go before Nelson Mandela, and Nelson Mandela at that time was bringing this reconciliation attitude in. And he just kind of ruffled the guy's head and said, that's all in the past. And he did inspire fantastic loyalty in the members of the PPU, because as they worked around him, they saw what kind of man he was, and that he was the genuine thing. He was trying to reconcile everything and get South Africa headed in a new direction, away from the old apartheid era and a new dawn, as it were. So the book uh, is really in two aspects. It's one about Nelson Mandela, or Madiba as he's affectionately known, and his work and his impact and his relationships, and the other is about how to protect somebody like that. So one of the first stories in it is from London, where Rory is with Madiba, and the crowds were amazing. And now protecting Nelson Mandela was a bit like protecting the Pope. He was just mobbed wherever he went. They called it the Mandela factor. He was fantastically easily recognizable. He wanted to be accessible to the people, and it caused problems for the protection. And they were working alongside the Special Branch at the time. And Rory Steyn gives the Special Branch a lot of credit for a great job they did. But they actually got separated, and there was Nelson Mandela and Prince Charles, and Rory Steyn had to get them to the nearest police station for safe sanctuary because they were separated from the rest of the convoy. So that became quite hair-raising. And another section of the book, which is of particular interest to anyone in protection, is security around the world, problems and solutions. The United States, he says, while procedures and cultures differ from country to country, just like policemen and women around the world, presidential security teams have much in common with very similar subcultures and often common terminology. Most of them refer to their jobs as babysitting. The Americans have the reputation of being the most irritating. While I have to say that while I don't agree with their policy of putting hundreds of pairs of eyes and feet out there, I do envy their budget, and they are good at getting the job done. But while they may be good at getting the job done, they do tend to go over the top. They there's quite a few books written by former Secret Service guys, and I will be reviewing them. And this is interesting to see the other point of view, what it's like working with the Secret Service making demands of the resources in other countries and wanting to really mess up the best laid plans. The British, on the other hand, are equally well trained, but they prefer to go the discreet route. They don't believe in putting so many bodies on the ground, but those who are there are the cream of the crop, all graduates, well informed and good to work with. He talks about Africa and other places. Another section features the World Cup, the Rugby World Cup. Now, in South Africa, rugby is a religion. And when the World Cup was held, it became a massive world event. And it was one really in which Nelson Mandela did make big strides in unifying the country, where he came onto the pitch to meet the two teams, and he was wearing the Springbok shirt, and which was the symbol of the old, really. And he won everyone over. So he talks about that in this, but Rory was detached to look after the All Blacks team, and he is quite frank that they were poisoned. There was poison introduced into their food, and the hotel they were staying at, there was constant noise. Phone calls were put through to the rooms, which should have been intercepted at the switchboard and so on. And I've stayed at the hotel. It's a top hotel in Santon and near Joburg. And it's a really good hotel and does have the facilities. So it was obviously the South African Rugby Board had a hand in stirring this up. And in the event, the Springboks won and the All Blacks lost. And it's a bad mark on South African sport, really. Brilliant book. As I say, it gives a different side to protecting somebody who was not easy to protect, because he thought about the people all the time, the people in the crowds, and he would send the bodyguards off to make sure that a woman who'd fainted was okay, and things like this. And the book comes over as a real insight. As I said, one step behind Mandela, so he's literally on the man's shoulder. So he saw him through all moods, and gained fantastic respect for him. And it's also a great insight into the world of high level protection internationally. So it's still available. It's a really good one to get.